Okay, so this video is going to be for those who have done an exam and failed, who are about to take an exam but feel the anxiety, stress and pressure and don't know how to deal with it. And I'm going to use a real life example of something that's just happened recently to go a bit more in depth and help you to remove those negative voices. And also, if you failed an exam, how do you get back up and go at it again? So just to give context, I would highly recommend you go and watch the previous video. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to check that video out so you can understand what happened. But just to summarize, essentially, I gave an exam out of the blue for the students I teach. So I run a private maths academy where I teach students from year 7 all the way up to A levels. And I sprung up an exam for the year 10s and year 11s, and I'm going to do the same thing for the year 8s, but by the time this video is there, they would have already done it. And I sprung up an exam out of the blue, and it just completely took them by surprise. They had no idea like how to go about dealing with this. And after the exam, a lot of them said, oh my gosh, this was like the hardest exam I've done. The questions were just a different level to the ones I've done in school. And I don't even think I've got more than 10 marks. One student said, this is illegal what you're doing. Like, you can't give these kind of questions, as a joke, obviously. Now, I'll explain to you the reason why I went like this and why I did this, and you'll understand my thought process behind it. But as I was marking the papers, there were a bit of few people that didn't do well. And actually, a lot of people didn't do well. And there were quite a few as well that did okay. Now, the ones that didn't do well, I want to address this because I feel like it could also help you if you've just done an exam that didn't go as well as you thought it was going to go. And it's good. This is good that it's happened, and I'm going to explain to you why. You see, you've just done this exam, and this exam could be university exam, A-level exam, GCSE exam, a driving test exam, a job application, an interview, and it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. You quote unquote failed, right? You didn't fail. You didn't fail. It just didn't work out the way you thought it was going to work out. That's what's happened. This word of failure, when things don't go the way we think it should happen, we immediately put that back on ourselves, and we immediately go hard on ourselves and think that we are not good enough, we're stupid, we're dumb. You're probably feeling those feelings, right? You're probably feeling like, you might have got 10 out of 50 or 10 out of 100 or whatever it is, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm dumb, I'm stupid. This is not a good feeling. I'm not comfortable with this, which means I'm not good at science. I'm not good at maths. I'm not good at English because of this grade. That's probably what you're feeling. But you see, this is where I really want to address this, because I'm going to address this to the students anyway in class. This is good. And the reason why this is good is because it's a wake-up call for you. It's a wake-up call because it shows to you that there's work that needs to be done. And the work that you thought you were doing isn't good enough. It just isn't good enough. Which is okay. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean you're incapable. All it means is you have to now change the way you go about working, studying, focusing. What are you working on? All of this stuff needs to change because the results didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. The reason why I went a bit harder on the paper with the students and I took them by surprise is because I want them to understand that you have to get comfortable when things don't go your way. And this was one of the best things that I could have done for them. They might not realize it right now. I guarantee you they will see it. When something doesn't go the way you want it to go or you thought it was going to go, your thought process should now be, okay, this didn't go well. What can I learn from this? If an exam didn't go well, as opposed to you thinking straight away that, oh my gosh, I'm shit, I'm dumb, etc., you need to look at it as, okay, where did I go wrong? What happened? Where did I lose the marks? Where is the lack of knowledge here that I'm lacking in, that I need to now focus even more? This is how you need to start thinking. When something hasn't gone well, don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as a learning curve. I always say this, and I think there's a book, I can't remember the book, but someone said this is where you have to fail fast, fail forward, and fail often. That's the quickest way you're going to grow and succeed. So when you look at it as you didn't get the grade, it's like, okay, cool. It hurts. Of course it hurts. It's going to hurt. When we don't do well in something, it's going to hurt because it's like a projection on us. But you need to remove that emotion and say, okay, I need to now sit down and look at what happened. What went wrong? What topics do I need to focus on? What questions do I need to focus on? How much time do I need to put on these questions and how much practice do I need? This is the steps that you now need to start taking. If you have to go through these emotions, okay, go through the emotions for the first couple of days after the results that's come, right? And the results didn't go well, okay, go through the emotions. It's normal. It's like, when you're going through a breakup, you're going to go through the emotions when it's just normal. Okay, fine. Go through it for the first 2 days if you have to. But after that, you give yourself that 2 days. And then after that, you say, okay, now I'm going to sit down and start thinking about what I need to do now, what I need to change. Are you putting enough work? Are you studying as much as you should be studying? Are you putting quality work? Have a think about that. Really think about that and be honest with yourself. Are you actually studying what needs to be studied? Are you actually focusing when you should be focused? Because the results, they don't lie. The results are not lying. That's a fact. And just bear in mind, I'm not saying that exams and school and university is everything. I just hope you understand that. I'm not saying that if you fail your exams, your life is over. That is not what I'm saying. Even when I teach the students and I tell them, I say, listen, maths is not everything, but I want you to learn the values and principles, the work ethic, the consistency, the effort, the focus, all these things. You can apply that in other aspects of your life. It doesn't have to be in this. Okay, you might not like the subject, fine, but it's the principles. That is important, because if you have the principles, you can use those same principles in doing whatever you want in your life. So look at those principles. Are you putting enough time? Are you leaving your homework till the last minute before the class is coming, before the next day? Are you, when you're working and you're studying, do you have your phone next to you? Do you have tabs open? Are you in an environment where it's noisy and your attention span reduces? These are things that you can change. So these are the practical things that I'm just sharing right now, right? Okay, my environment, let me change my environment. My focus, okay, let me remove my phone and put it in another room. Let me close all the internet tabs and just focus on this, what I need to focus on for the next 2 hours or whatever, however many hours you need to put. Let me focus on practicing a certain number of questions every day for this topic because I'm struggling on this topic and this is where I went wrong in the exam. Cool. You start doing those things, I guarantee you, it will shoot up. Your grade will start shooting up. These are practical, actionable steps that you can do, not wishy-washy rubbish about, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. You got this. That means nothing if you don't take action. I'm sorry, and I know I'm probably going to rob a lot of people on this, but I'm more of an action person. What's your action? What are you doing? What's your steps? Don't just say, do. Don't talk, do. Take action. Actions speak louder than words. No point of you talking if you're not taking action. It's useless. It's pointless. It's not going to get you anywhere. I want you to really be honest with yourself here. I want you to be really honest with yourself and really think about how much work did you actually put for that exam that you failed, quote unquote failed. How much work did you put in the interview preparation for that job? Did you learn all about the company? Did you recite or role play all the interview questions that they can ask you? Did you look at yourself and how you will portray yourself to someone else when you're talking? All these small little things add up. When we fail, again, quote unquote, when something doesn't go the way we think it should have gone, we instantly bring up excuses. And you're probably having an excuse. You're saying, oh, the exam was hard. This is what my students are going to say, but I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen when I give them the paper back. And I'm going to give a good wording with them. They're good students. I want them to do well. But this is also a good learning experience for them. Because for me, I don't like when you put the blame on someone or something else when you haven't checked yourself first. If you're going to do that in the corporate world or in the world of work and you blame, oh, it's my colleague, it's my manager, the manager will kick you out like this and they'll find someone else. It's that easy. If you can't take the responsibility when something goes wrong because you messed up, but you're blaming that on someone else or something else, you have issues. There's problems. Those problems are going to keep staying with you as you grow into adulthood. As you go into life, every time you keep blaming or something or someone and you don't look at yourself, you're lacking self-awareness. You're lacking taking responsibility. You're lacking taking accountability of yourself. It makes you weak. Of course, things are not going to go the way you want it all the time. Like it hurts. I understand that. Like the exam not going well, you didn't get the grades, you didn't get the university, you didn't get the job. It hurts, but through failures, through these things not going the way you want, there is learning thing that you can learn so much from this. Like, listen, like I have a second channel. It's called The Second Chances, and I share a lot of my life experiences, and a lot of it has been very, very difficult, very challenging, because a lot of people just want to see the success, right? They just want to see the end product, but they don't realize that there's so much work that goes behind closed doors. There's so much levels of stress, pressure that goes behind for you to even see the success. There is no success without that. But people these days are delusional in thinking that, oh, I just need to work for a couple of weeks or a couple of months or 6 months and then I can get the success. It doesn't work that way. You're delusional if you think that's the way it's going to work. I'm sorry. I don't know what planet you're living on, but that's just not the way it's going to work. Rejection is part of life. When I started up this Maths Academy, I went to schools. I got rejected by 40 schools. Because all of them were saying, you need a PGCE. And I even went to those schools and I said, I don't want your money. I'll come and do it voluntarily. And I'll show you that I can improve the grades of these kids and they'll enjoy maths. It went to, maybe I could do that for another video, where it got to a stage where I went to a school and all the kids were waiting for me. There was about 20, 30 kids that were waiting for me in a after school maths club, where most of the time there was only 2-3 people. 30 people came because they wanted me to help them. They wanted me to teach them. How? I didn't have a PGCE. I just knew how to interact with the students. I knew how to interact with the kids. I knew how to explain it to them in a way they understand. And obviously the schools, they have these, you have to have this. But for me, I was like, if I can make your student enjoy maths, understand maths and get the results, isn't that what you want? That's what I can do. That's not cocky or being arrogant. That's confidence. That's me building on my craft year in, year out, even when things didn't go well, even when I was getting rejected, even when I was told I was a failure, even when things didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I used all of those things, those failures, to my advantage, and I still kept coming back, to the point now, you can go and see in the other videos, there's so many students that come because they know, they enjoy the class, they understand what I teach, and we have a good rapport, we have a good understanding. We joke around, they joke on me, I joke on them, but we get the work done. That's the environment I'm building. That's what I want, and they enjoy it. They've said, even the paper that I've given them just now, right, the last week, they said no schools have given this kind of paper. This is really a different level, but I did that on purpose because I want them to experience hardship. I want them to experience when things get difficult. How do you now go about dealing with that? What's your mindset like? Because I told them, listen, if you can go through this, where I just sprung up an exam out of nowhere, and now you're doing this paper, which is normally harder than the GCSE and A-level maths papers, and now you're dealing with that. Imagine now when you go back to school and you actually go and do these exams. You've gone through the hardships. The only way is up. You're only going to get better if you use it to your advantage, if you look at it through the right lens. I don't want them to fail. My aim is to get them the best grade possible so they can go and do whatever they want in their own life after. I've never said that education is important. I said, listen, if you don't know what you're doing right now, the only thing right now you have is education. Don't give me this rubbish where it's like, I don't want to do it. This is useless, this is pointless. Of course, it's pointless and useless. Fine. What else are you doing though? What else are you doing? If it's useless and pointless, okay, fine, education. Where are we going to learn this biology stuff? Where are we going to learn chemistry in the real life? Where are we going to learn this math stuff in real life? Okay, cool, no problem. What are you doing? Are you going out there and making something of yourself? Are you creating something? Are you doing something? Or are you just talking and moaning but not doing anything? Because that's what most people do. They moan when when something doesn't go well or something they don't like something, they moan about it, but they don't do anything. I hope that you can see where I'm coming from, and I'm just talking to you from the experience that's just happened. And I don't like to sugarcoat things because that's just not the way I am. That's not the way I was brought up. I'm someone who talks from real life experiences, not from some theory books and just kind of be like, hey, look, this book says this theory. And no, go out in the real world and experience shit and talk about it. The Second Chances channel is literally got so much of that. And I talk about a lot of deep, dark stuff that's happened. If things don't go the way you want, if you've not achieved the grade you want, if you have these anxieties, stress, pressure, what are you doing about it, and what actions are you doing as opposed to being in your mind and not letting that get over you? What actionable steps are you doing? Because if you take those actions, I guarantee you, those nerves, those anxiety, those feelings of I'm a failure, I didn't do well in the exam will go away, because now you know these are what I'm going to do. And as long as I stick to my action, as long as I stick to my action plan, what am I worrying about? What am I worrying about? It's normal to have nerves. It's fine. It means you care, but you've got to do something about it. Take these actions. Don't look at it as, okay, if you fail this exam, that's it, it's over, you're not good enough. No, you are good. You can do it. And listen, even if you put the work in and you still don't get the grade, listen, it's still respect. Do you know why? Because you put the work in. You don't want to be in a position, though, that you didn't get the grade and you look back and say, damn, I could have put more work in. I regret that. That's on you. That is on you. If you knew you could have put more work in, but you didn't, that's your responsibility. That's your fault. But if you've done the work and you did all you can, the best of you, to your best of your abilities, and you don't get the high grade, the A star A, but you get like a B or something or C, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's respect. I still respect that, because you've done everything you can. You've put the hours in, you've put the quality in, you've done everything you can. You've done as many practice questions as you can. It just wasn't your subject. That's fine. But most people don't put the work in. I know what the students are going to say when they get the results this week. Oh, the exam was hard. Oh, you took us by complete surprise. Yeah, I did. And? Do you want it the easy way? Because if you want it the easy way, you're not going to grow. You're not going to improve. Do you want me to teach you the basic stuff? The questions that we do in our class, in the maths class that I do, is hard. It does get them to think. It is challenging, but that is why people come. Because they realize that once they've gone through that and now they understand, they're like, oh my gosh, when I go back to school, GCSE is so easy. A-levels maths is so easy. Like, I'm in class and I'm finishing all the questions. That's what a lot of these students say to me. So school is so easy. I'm finishing all the questions and, I'm ahead of the class. It's because we do a lot of the hard stuff. There's a reason why I do that. I don't get anything by just doing the basic stuff. Challenge yourself. That's another thing. Like, okay, I didn't do well. I need to challenge myself more. How can I challenge myself? I need to push. How do I push? I need to take action. How do I take action? By taking the first step. It's all about taking the first step. It's all about controlling your mind. Your mind doesn't control you. You control your mind. You need to start building that, because I'm telling you, when you get in real life, and you shouldn't be looking at these so-called influencers and all this social media bravado rubbish. That's the virtual world. It's rubbish. It's cuckoo land. It's not reality. Take everything that you see with a pinch of salt, because they don't talk about reality. They just talk about what they need so that they can get their end of the bargain, and that's it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, nor will I even... I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to say it as it is. That's just how I am. That's my personality. For those who can relate or who can connect with that, great. For those who think I'm too harsh, then listen, you're going to experience life when people are going to be harsh, when circumstances are going to be harsh. Then we'll see what happens. Build that mindset now. You build it now. I guarantee you, as you grow and you go into adulthood and you go into the world of work, you'll become a monster, a good monster, someone that you don't want to mess with. Take this as a good thing. Okay, you failed now. No problem. Again, it didn't go well. Fine. There's still time for me to learn. There's still time for me to take these actionable steps. There's still time for me to change my ways and start putting the work, so that the next time the exam comes, I'm going to make sure that I do well. I'm going to make sure that I ace it. I'm going to make sure that I learn from my mistakes. You know, there's a saying, it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If you don't learn from your mistakes, that's on you. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. I make mistakes. I still make mistakes to this day. But it's like, okay, once you made a mistake and you now know you've made a mistake, what do you do about it? That's the important thing. It's not about just getting the grades, because sometimes in life, you have to be brought down. Sometimes in life, things shouldn't go your way, because you can learn from that. There's wisdom and experience you can learn from that for you to improve and propel and grow. There is no growth without setbacks. There is no growth without challenges and obstacles. You need to go through that. This is what I talk about in the second chances a lot. And I use my life experiences to connect with that. Start doing. Change the mindset and start taking action. And I guarantee you, things will start going your way. Everything starts from zero. When are you going to start? Peace.